They've built a world on your ignorance, on your compliance. That comfortable illusion shatters today. Arthur Schopenhauer, a name often whispered with a grimace, dismissed as the philosopher of pessimism. But to reduce him to mere negativity is to miss the profound surgical precision of his analysis. Schopenhauer wasn't just lamenting existence, he was dissecting the raw, relentless engine driving it, the will to life. And what he revealed centuries ago is not just arcane philosophy, it's a terrifyingly precise blueprint of how this will, in its modern, socially engineered guise, fuels a sophisticated architecture of female deception. A system meticulously designed to ensnare men who dare not look behind the curtain. This is the truth they actively work to conceal from you. Ignore this at your own peril. To understand the deception, you must first understand the deceiver. Not a conscious entity, not a malevolent god, but something far more fundamental. Schopenhauer's will to life. Imagine a blind, insatiable force, a current thundering beneath the surface of reality. This will, according to Schopenhauer, is the ultimate reality, the thing in itself. It has one primary directive: to perpetuate itself. To live, to strive, to reproduce endlessly, indifferent to the happiness or suffering of the individual vessels it inhabits. You, I, everyone, we are manifestations of this will. Our conscious intellect, our reasoning, Schopenhauer argued, is secondary. It's a tool, often a servant to the blind striving of this primal force. He wrote, in The World as Will and Representation, the will, as thing in itself, constitutes the inner, true and indestructible nature of man. But this will is not your friend. It doesn't care about your personal fulfillment, your career aspirations, your search for meaning beyond its core imperative. This isn't the self-help narrative you're fed. This isn't the follow your passion mantra that glosses over the dark undercurrents of human motivation. This is the uncomfortable truth. A significant portion of your drive, particularly that which pulls you towards attraction and relationships, is orchestrated by this impersonal, species-level agenda. It is a truth deliberately obscured, because to acknowledge it is to begin dismantling the very structures of manipulation built upon its foundation. They don't want you to know that your deepest urges might not be your own in the way you've been taught to believe. They want you driven by instinct, not by conscious awareness, because an instinct-driven man is a predictable man, an easily herded man. Now, how does this ancient, impersonal will manifest in the hypermodern landscape of relationships and gender dynamics? This is where Schopenhauer's insights become truly incendiary, truly revelatory, for the man struggling to understand the bewildering chaos of modern dating and interaction. Schopenhauer observed that the will to life, in its quest for optimal propagation, employs distinct strategies through the sexes. He spoke of the instinct of the species operating powerfully, especially in matters of love and attraction, often overriding individual reason. In the context of modern female strategy, this instinct, amplified and refined by millennia of evolution and now supercharged by societal narratives and technological platforms, becomes a formidable tool of what can only be described as deception. Let's be clear, this is not about conscious mustache-twirling villainy in every woman. It's about a deeply embedded, often unconscious, programming. A programming that prioritizes securing the best possible conditions for offspring, genetic, material, and protective. This is the will's agenda. Modern societal narratives of romantic idealism, of supposed parity in relational desires, of the demonization of any critical examination of female behavior, provide the perfect camouflage. Consider the landscape. Social media curated to project hyper-idealized lives, dating apps that gamify connection and amplify hypergamous tendencies, cultural scripts that relentlessly shame male discernment while celebrating female empowerment, often defined by leveraging sexual capital. This is the will's playground. It whispers through carefully constructed personas, through the subtle deployment of emotional leverage, through the exploitation of male protective instincts, and the conditioned desire for validation. You've felt it, haven't you, that dissonance? The feeling of being drawn into scenarios that seem to defy logic, that leave you drained, confused, or exploited. This is the will, cloaked in modern attire, playing its ancient game. They will call this analysis misogyny. They will scream and attempt to deplatform it. Why? Because it pulls back the curtain on the operating system. It exposes the rules of a game where your biological programming, your innate desire for connection and intimacy, is systematically used against your individual well-being. Schopenhauer was particularly scathing about what we call romantic love. He saw this intense, all-consuming emotion not as a pinnacle of human experience, but as the will's most brilliant deception. The genius of the species, he termed it, tricking individuals into believing their pursuit of a specific partner is for their own unique happiness, when in reality, it's the will ensuring the optimal genetic pairing for the next generation. He stated, "When two people fall in love, it is the will to live of the new individual they could produce which is already making itself felt." This love delusion, as he might call it, creates massive blind spots, especially for men conditioned by culture to be the pursuers, the providers, the romantics. You are taught to idealize, to sacrifice, to place the object of your affection on a pedestal. This idealism is then expertly exploited. Think of the countless men pouring resources, time, and emotional energy into pursuits that offer diminishing or even negative returns. This is the will, using your innate desire for pair bonding to achieve its ends regardless of your personal cost. The modern man is bombarded with messages that reinforce these blind spots. Pop culture, media, even well-meaning but naive advice all conspire to keep you chasing an illusion. The one, the soulmate. The idea that relentless effort and self-sacrifice will win genuine affection. Schopenhauer would argue these are often the siren songs leading you onto the rocks. Your confusion, your past heartbreaks, the feeling of being played, these were not random misfortunes. They were predictable outcomes of navigating a terrain whose map has been deliberately withheld from you. A terrain shaped by Schopenhauer's veil of Maya, the illusion of the phenomenal world, now reinforced by a culture that profits from your continued delusion. The fear this should instill is not a paralyzing fear, but an activating one. Ignoring this truth, remaining plugged into the manufactured romantic script, leads to a life of quiet desperation, of emotional and financial exploitation, of being a utility rather than a sovereign being. The will, unexamined and unchecked, coupled with societal conditioning, will ruthlessly subordinate your individual aspirations to its impersonal agenda. You become a cog in a machine you don't even realize exists. So is the message one of utter despair? Must we all become monks, as Schopenhauer half suggested in his exploration of asceticism and the denial of the will? Not necessarily in the literal sense, but his diagnosis points towards the cure: radical self-awareness and a courageous detachment. The first step is to see, to acknowledge the power of the will to life within you and its strategic manifestations in the world around you, particularly in intersexual dynamics. This is not about cynicism for cynicism's sake. It's about cultivating what Schopenhauer called the quieter of the will, the intellect, observation, and understanding. Practically, this means questioning your programming. When you feel that intense, irrational pull, ask, is this truly my desire or the echo of the will? Analyze patterns not just in others but in yourself. Recognize the scripts you've been handed and begin to rewrite them. Develop your own purpose, a purpose that transcends the mere pursuit of validation or romantic entanglement. Schopenhauer found solace in aesthetic contemplation, in art, in philosophy, pursuits that elevate the mind beyond the will's immediate grasp. For the modern man, this translates to building your own kingdom, your mind, your skills, your mission, before you even consider navigating the treacherous terrain of modern relationships from a position of strength and awareness rather than needy desire. This path of seeing, of understanding, is not for everyone. Most will prefer the comforting lies, the blue pill of blissful ignorance. They will chase the fleeting highs and endure the inevitable lows, all while believing they are exercising free will. This journey is for the few, for those who possess the intellectual courage and the emotional fortitude to confront uncomfortable realities. It is for those who sense there are deeper layers to this game, intricate mechanisms of social and psychological control designed to keep the masculine spirit tethered and domesticated. Schopenhauer's revelation is indeed a harsh medicine. The will to life, this blind striving force, particularly as it manifests through eons of evolutionary strategy and is amplified by modern social constructs, is undeniably a source of profound deception and potential suffering for the unaware man. But to recognize this is not to surrender to pessimism. It is the first critical step on the arduous journey of transcending its raw power, of moving from being its puppet to becoming its observer, and perhaps to some degree its master within your own being. The choice, as always, is stark. Remain ensnared by biological imperatives and manipulative societal scripts, sleepwalking through a life dictated by forces you don't understand, or awaken to the uncomfortable, yet ultimately empowering truth of your own nature and the nature of the world. This is not about hating women or rejecting connection. It is about seeking authentic connection built on truth and awareness, not on illusion and exploitation. The path to true sight, to genuine masculine sovereignty, is demanding. It requires constant vigilance, ruthless self-honesty, and an unwavering commitment to understanding. The answers are there, hidden in plain sight for those who develop the eyes to see. Keep seeking. Keep questioning. The awakening is just the beginning.